Take a good look. I know you're scared. Corporations in America, I'm what you fear the most. I'm a poor, needs-based, disabled American. Yeah, my pigmentation may be considered white. But you know what? I'm Sicilian Italian. And I'm a legal, peaceful American citizen. But I scare you, don't I? It's because I'm an educated man. Because I know the truth. And I know that you're suppressing the vote, and you don't want blacks to vote. You don't want poor whites to vote. You don't want Latinos or women to vote. And you sure as heck don't want Asians to vote. And you don't want them to vote. Because you've been oppressing people and trying to suppress the vote. And trying to come up with, oh, we need your license to prove it's not fraud. That's a lot of baloney, and you know it. And you want to oppress and keep driving down the middle class. You want to oppress and keep driving down the African American community and the Latinos. And you want the African American community and the Latinos to get so hopeless that they result in violence upon each other. And you want that to happen to the whites that are poor. You know what? You're afraid of us. That's why you're trying to stop the vote. That's why all of a sudden they're talking about, oh, we got to prove that you're an American citizen. No, you don't. You know darn well that they're American citizens and that I am. You can't afford us to vote because you know that if all of us get to the polls without your intimidation or even with it, if we get to the polls when we pull that lever, you both know, all of you know, that President Obama will not only get reelected tomorrow, November the 6th, 2012, not only will he get the electoral college votes, you know that if the vote gets out there, that he will get over 310 electoral college votes. And you know that. So that's why you're trying to claim all the polls are showing it neck and neck. No, it's not. That's why you're claiming that all these people don't have a legal right to vote. Yes, they do. You're scared of us. You're more frightened of us than all the horror movies in the history of this planet. From Dracula to Freddy Krueger to Paranormal 4. Paranormal Insider, whatever it was called. Paranormal Activity 4. You're terrified of us. Legally and peacefully. But you know what? My fellow Americans, get to the polls. Even if it means taking a day off your job, getting there late, or maybe even sacrificing your job and having to find a new one. I know the economy's terrible, but your life and the lives of your fellow Americans who are not wealthy and who do get Medicare or needs-based assistance or college kids from 18 to 26 who now have access to health care. We need you. America needs you. And you know what? If you do get to the polls and you don't let anybody stop you, and the president is reelected, we're going to get millions of jobs back. But we got to petition Congress to do something that they've never done in our history. We got to petition them to sanction companies that do outsourcing and to financially reward companies who come back and bring jobs back to America. And why? Because it's no longer a free market. It's a market of slavery. The bar is going lower and lower, and corporations, including Hershey of Hershey, Pennsylvania, are now outsourcing the very chocolate bars that we eat to Mexico. Jobs are going further and further down in terms of benefits, and around the globe, they're racing to the bottom. If you don't want an enslaved world, and you want to stand up to these corporations legally and peacefully and say, no, you will not enslave me. You will not oppress me. You will not take me for granted. Then you need to get to the polls. And you need to look at this as the new civil rights movement. And you heard a lot about Obamacare. But did you know that not only do senior citizens have their Medicare benefits in place, but they have additional benefits in place and saved over 25 to 50% this year in their donut hole medical prescription cost. Don't be deceived by these ads. Do you consider yourself the 99 or 47%? Did you like Big Bird in Sesame Street when you were a kid? Stand up for Big Bird. Stand up for public broadcasting. The educational programs and the cultural programs and the history under a Romney administration could be gone. What will you do to educate your kids if you can't afford the best schools? What will you do if they never get the money to go to college? The public libraries and public broadcasting can get you the education you need to get that high-paying career job in the future. You see, tomorrow, November the 6th, 2012, is not just an election. It's a way of life and quality of life. It's about so much more, my friends. And why would they oppress the vote? Because they've oppressed us so much that they cannot risk losing. They need to try to win by any means possible. And I'm not against Romney, but I am against all who would exploit and harm our fellow Americans and their fellow Americans. I'm against policies that do that. President Obama is a good man. President Obama is an honest man. President Obama believes in the Constitution, no matter what you've heard. And yes, he is okay with gay marriage, as you should be. Because under the Constitution, we are all to have equal rights. It's not about if you like gay marriage. It's not even if you're religiously against gay marriage. We segregated and heck, even killed segments of society in our early history. Why should we oppress the gays simply because they want to get married? And why should we deny the constitutional rights simply because of our religious beliefs? And as far as, I'm going to go a little bit further on that. Your marriage is not affected in any way if a gay gets married. What is affected is if you treat your wife or husband with love and respect. And if you ultimately get divorced, it doesn't matter if only heterosexuals are legally allowed to get married or if gays are. And in the final analysis, who's paying your bills? That's why you should be voting tomorrow. And let me tell you something. If you vote for Obama, you'll eventually have more money in your pocket. Eventually. But if you vote purely on your religious beliefs, or because of the stupid negative ads that told lies, you know what you're going to do? You're going to hurt every American, including yourself. The 47% in the middle class have been being destroyed for the last 50 years. And both sides need to change that. But let's not make it worse. You know, it's not about being partisan. It really isn't. It's about what's best for America. And when we have senior citizens having money to pay for their prescriptions and getting discounts or not paying anything, when we have that at risk, what are we saying to our seniors? That they don't matter? They do matter. And when we have people with pre-existing conditions finally being able to get medical care because the insurance companies cannot deny it, and we want to repeal that law, are we saying that if you have a pre-existing condition, you deserve to die? If you think that I'm being too tough, too deep, we have to make a great day of justice tomorrow, November the 6th, 2012. We need to right the wrongs. We need to keep moving ahead. We not only need to re-elect President Obama, we need to work to get a Democratic House and a Democratic Senate. And it's not because I'm in love with their party, but it's because their policies work for all Americans. And I don't know if you knew this or not, but corporations, 2 of every 3 corporations, don't even pay any taxes federally. Did you know that General Electric in 2009 made $101 billion? $101 billion. They didn't pay a penny in federal taxes. But then the government and their friends found a way to give them $1 billion free in corporate welfare. So they made $102 billion and didn't pay a penny in taxes. Can you out there say that? Whether you're the wealthiest or the poorest person in America. Can you say that entire year of 2009 you never paid a penny in taxes? Now you might be thinking, well, that was Obama. No. Those corporate tax laws happened under the Bush era. Do you want those types of laws to increase? And as the law is now, if they outsource, they get money back. We need to pay companies to insource, to bring back new industries. Why can't the Apple iPhone 5 be made in America? Think of the jobs that would create. And I have nothing against any other country. But where are we going to have the money or the jobs to move forward if we keep outsourcing everything? There is even bathroom tissue that was once always made in America, now being made in Mexico and in China. Even the United States flag is being made in China. Our symbol of our nation. Tomorrow, November the 6th, 2012, we can change all that by electing a man who wants to change these things and helping them to do it. I'm bringing back jobs and education and health care for all. And finding the money. You know, Obama said he was going to end the war in Iraq. He did. He said he was going to get Osama bin Laden. He did. He said he was going to bring people back from Afghanistan and our soldiers, our brothers and sisters. And he is. Give him a second term. Not because he's the greatest thing since sliced potato chips, but because you are. You matter. Vote your financial situation. Think about your finances, your job, how much you make a year, how much your benefits are, or how much they would be increased if you actually lost Medicare or Medicaid or whatever you have in place. Think before you get to the polls. And if you're a black man, a white man, a Latino or an Asian, an Indian or an Iraqi, a Pakistani or Afghanistani or Cuban or Hawaiian American or Greek or Italian, I don't care. Get to the polls. And if you need to bring a license or some kind of ID, do it. And if they intimidate you, call the police. And if it's the police intimidating you, call the president's number for his national headquarters, or heck, call the White House itself and report to police. And call the FBI or the Justice Department. But whatever you do, get to the polls. Because our very lives depend on it. Now, I remember in 2008, I said this was the greatest, most important election that we have ever had. Until that point, it was. Now, this one has surpassed that. But I want you to know, you're a very powerful person. That's why the corporations are spending $1 billion or more to try to get you to vote your social views or religious views, but not your financial situation. Or to not vote at all. They don't want you to vote for what you should vote for. Because if you do, President Obama will win the popular vote, and he will get 300 to 310 electoral college votes or more. Let's make that happen. Let's stand up for the oppressed. Let's stand up for the repressed. Let's stand up for disabled Americans. Let's stand up for homeless veterans. Let's stand up for the senior citizens. Let's stand up for the steel workers who made this country, the electricians, our fathers and mothers. Let's stand up. In fact, I'm getting ready to end this video. But I'm going to say a few words to you. And I'm not going to say, remember that humanity and you matter, because you do. But I'm going to leave you with these words. Let's stand up. Let's stand up. Let's stand up. Stand up for justice. Stand up for justice. Stand up for justice. Let's stand up. Let's stand up. Let's stand up. Vote. Let's stand up. Vote. Let's stand up. Let's stand up. Let's stand up. And God bless America. God bless America. And stand up for America. And vote for President Barack Obama.